Hey guys, what's up? So today's video is going to be the long-awaited, but not actually long-awaited, life update video. I haven't really been uploading much, so I wanted to just give you a life update, what's been going on, and I'm gonna put on some makeup while I chat. You might learn a little bit more about me. You'll definitely learn about what this year has been like. So I figured I'd just pop on, make this video. Maybe it'll make sense to you why I haven't been here. And if you're new, hi, hello. I hope to be uploading more than I have recently. But if you're interested to hear what I've been up to and what life has been like, just keep watching. All right, I did zoom you in and I already moisturized and did my eyebrows. So they're looking a little fierce today. And I did use this Sigma brow pencil, the Fill and Blend brow pencil. I think it works just as well as an Anastasia brow is, if you're familiar, but it is a little bit more creamy. So I think that's why they're a little bit darker and deeper than I usually go. But I'm going to be using this new foundation I just picked up in the recent Sephora sale. It's the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. So it looks like this. It says like light coverage, but I think that's okay for me today. I'm just going to Walmart. There's no need to look like bad and beautiful. It's just like a look a little bit better kind of beauty, you know. I have tried this. It's on the floor. That's definitely not good because that's glass. Oh no. Moving on, I have a whole timeline of events that happened this year because it was in a very eventful year. I'm just gonna put this on the back of my hand and apply it with a brush. Okay, so this year, a lot of things happened with me and also my dad mainly. What happened first was my dad went to the doctor because he was having some issues, and they figured out after doing tests and, you know, procedures and stuff that he had to have a pretty major surgery. The day of surgery, when me and my mom brought him to the hospital, he was in surgery from like 11 in the afternoon to like basically nighttime. It was dark by the time he was done with surgery. And then the doctors said beforehand that he would be in the hospital recovering for about 6 days. Well, unfortunately, they couldn't keep him only 6 days. You know, there were a few things that happened while he was in recovery which delayed his time to be released from the hospital. So he ended up staying in there 3 weeks, which if you've been in the hospital, 3 weeks is a very long time to be basically in one room, not home with your family, not in your environment. It's rough, you know, and it's rough on the people who aren't in the hospital as well, because at least for me and my mom, every day we would go up to the hospital to see him for a couple hours, and then my mom would drive home and we'd do what we need to do here. And then around supper time, she would go back and see my dad, and I would be by myself at home. Oh, no, 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 that was bad. Well, that sucks. The cap, the pump flew off because I dropped the bottle. Anyway, it was hard on all of us. So that was at the beginning of this year. And after he came home from the hospital, he was recovering still. He had a major operation. My mom had to, you know, help take care of him within the first, you know, few weeks he was home after he was released. That was really hard and also a long process for him especially, but also me and my mom. Pretty intense stuff. I'm not gonna go into huge detail about what the surgery was because I don't really think that's necessary, but just know that, you know, this did happen. Between the time he had surgery and, you know, the length of time it took for him to be able to take care of just himself was a pretty decent chunk of the beginning of this year. So moving on, I am going to use the Loreal Fresh Wear Concealer. It's pretty new to me since I haven't been really wearing makeup, which is what I'm going to get to next because, oh no, the crap does not stop here. So after that journey of hospital stays and you know, recovery and things like that that my dad and my family had to go through and deal with, what happened next made it even worse. I was put on a new migraine medication because I have pretty bad migraines. You know, it's a chronic kind of thing, and I'm working with a neurologist and going through different medications to help with that. But the medication I was put on to help, you know, curb the migraines, and it's pretty new to the market, ended up giving me a side effect that landed me in the hospital. After my dad, you know, just got recovered, you know, barely. My mom had gone back to work, and he had started to do, you know, what he was doing before he had surgery again. I didn't have to have surgery. I had to go in the hospital. I went to the emergency room with my mom. They did tests and things, and, you know, they figured out that something was not right. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I had to go through some things that was not very pleasant, and don't really want to talk about them online. But anyway, this new migraine medication did not sit well in my body. It just didn't. I'm gonna share what that medication was. It was called Aimovig, and like I said, it's pretty new to the market. The FDA just approved it within the past year or two, and it had been working really well for people. And it did actually help with my migraines, but because I had this severe reaction to it and ended up being in the hospital for 2 weeks, I had to stop that medication right away. These complications I had to deal with were not fun. That's putting it lightly. And while they were treating the complication from the migraine medication, one of the things that they had to do for the complication to, you know, get rid of it caused me to get pneumonia. So while I was going through this treatment to help get rid of the complication from the migraine medication, I aspirated water, which is basically just when you breathe in water and it goes in your lungs. That causes pneumonia. And they had to put me on an IV antibiotic, which is an intense way to get antibiotics, but I didn't have another way to get the antibiotic in my system without it having to be this drastic of a way. So I was in the hospital getting treated for the complication that I got from the migraine medication, and also that turning into pneumonia. You know, I can't make this shit up. I really fucking can't. So I have filmed this video actually before, but I just felt like it went too much into detail, and it just didn't need to be that detailed. I am giving you detail. Enough detail, believe me, it's enough. I also, another thing happened. Oh man. So I had a scar on this cornea from a while ago, actually. I wore a ring to bed. Really don't do that, because in my sleep, I wiped my eye and, you know, fucked up my cornea, basically. So yeah, I had done that to my cornea a while ago, and I've been going to the eye doctor pretty regularly to deal with that. But because my cornea was thin, I was asleep in the hospital, which, if you've never stayed in the hospital, the air in the hospital, they obviously don't open the windows and things like that, so it's forced air. But because my cornea was thinner than most, I wiped my eye and it ended up perforating my cornea. So yeah, I just made the entire situation worse. And when I started to notice my eyesight being compromised, I guess you would say, I told the doctors. They had like a special eye doctor come and check my eye. It was a lot, okay? But he looked at me for about 20 minutes and he said, you know, you perforated your cornea. It's very bad. We need to fix this now. before it gets worse. So I had to be rushed to the emergency room because it wasn't an emergency situation, and that was the only place that they could do what they did to my eye in the entire hospital. They, you know, called in a specialist. After the doctor got into the emergency room, they took me in this special like eye room, and let me get my bronzer. I'm gonna use this Fenty bronzer in the shade Shady Biz. This is also pretty new. So anyway, I went in the special room, in the emergency room with this doctor, and he put this type of like, it's basically like a piece of glue for your eyeball, which sounds terrifying, and it kind of was, because at this moment my eyesight was not doing well, okay? And then he put a contact on top of that, which held the glue in place and, you know, stopped me from rubbing it free if I were to do that, you know, or whatever. And then they taped the eye shut with like steri strips. That happened, and then I stayed a couple more days in the hospital just to make sure everything was, you know, going away. The pneumonia, the complication from the migraine medication, and also, you know, healing my eye. My under eyes are really bright. That concealer was way too light. So anyway, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks and 2 days. Yes, I counted. It was horrible. When I got out of the hospital, when I was discharged, I went to my eye doctor basically the next day, and because he wanted to look at it and see how it was doing and if the glue was holding up and stuff. And he said the glue looked really good, and he said the best case scenario for me would be for the glue to heal my cornea, and then the glue would, you know, fall off. And that would be the best case scenario because it would be scarred, healed, closed, and it would be done with. Next, I'm using the monochromatic blush from Coverfx in Soft Peach, and I'm using the top shade, which is the more luminous side. A couple weeks went by, and the glue fell off. I saw my eye doctor again, and he said, good news is the glue has healed your cornea, and it has scarred over. But even though it did what we wanted and it's scarred and healed, I'm worried because your cornea is just too thin at this point. So because I had the previous scar and then perforated it afterward, my cornea was just not there. It was basically just a very thin piece, and he said basically your eye will perforate again, and I don't want to have to do a cornea transplant in the case of emergency. So the best case scenario happened, but my eye it wasn't healthy, and I made the decision to have a cornea transplant before it was an emergency situation, because in that case, you don't know what's going to happen, you know? You don't know how bad it will be. So it's just being proactive. So I booked a cornea transplant for the end of May, and I went in for surgery, and I was, you know, put under anesthesia and everything like that. So it was a whole thing. After the cornea transplant, I, you know, had to recover like you do with any surgery. Now, a transplant of your cornea is not as intense as like a transplant of your heart or something like that. The total amount of time for my cornea to heal is 6 to 9 months. So I had the surgery at the end of May. So where does that take me? I don't know. Months even from now. And it's still August now, but it's the end of August. And then I have to be on certain eye drops and ointments, and I have to go back very regularly to the eye doctor, and I still to this moment have stitches on my eyeball, and slowly but surely he will take them out as needed. So that's why it's such a long recovery is because you have to wait for the stitches to mesh my eye skin with the new cornea. That's why I haven't been making videos, because I've been waiting for it to heal enough to the point where I can do face makeup and things like that. But for eye makeup, like mascara and eyeshadow, I'm just gonna have to wait on that. Since I have to wait another like 3 months probably to wear eye makeup, and where my eye doctor wants me to be is basically another 3 months from now, which sucks. Oh man. So that's where my eye and recovery stands now. For my highlight, I'm going to use the collaboration between Ofra and Samantha March. By the way, I also wore this in my last video. If you saw that, I can link that up in the eye. But also, I wore it in an Instagram photo, and boy did that blind. Okay, this is an awesome highlighter. Moving forward with my channel, I am obviously not going to be doing eye makeup, like I said. So I do have a couple palettes that I used before I had my surgery that I could review, which I probably will because I took notes and everything already. So those are coming. One is from Ace Beauty and it's called the Flare palette. And one is from LA Splash, LA Girl, one of those. It's the Gatsby palette. But yeah, I will still be reviewing that. I just won't be wearing eye makeup in any of my future videos. So for my future videos, it's not going to be based on eye products. It's going to be more complexion based, like the foundation I used today, the Ilia foundation. I also picked up the Loreal Fresh Wear foundation, and also the Laura Mercier Lumiere foundation. Maybe I'm going to start the Will I Buy It series up again. That always did well on my channel, and I like doing them. It's basically just a commentary on recent makeup releases, so I can do that not wearing eye makeup. And I have some ideas floating around in my head for videos I can do without makeup, but I figured I would let you know where I've been. But I do want to get back into filming. I really love it, and I have been posting on Instagram. I have said that previously, but definitely check out my Instagram. I post pictures there. I post little reviews, skincare Sundays I'm starting to do, and you know, I post what I've hauled recently. This is a Colourpop lip liner in Absolute Zero. I'm just gonna lightly put this on because it's a really intense orange. And then on top of that, I'm gonna use the Persona Coral lip gloss, which is new to me as well. And I'm gonna apply this and then finish out the video. This is the finished look without eye makeup. I think it looks good. I think a little bit of a bolder lip without any eye is kind of cute. Tell me what you think of these products if you have tried them. And I hope you'll come back. Things are starting to look up. I hope getting a little bit more into my life and me sharing this will help you understand where I've been, and maybe you can connect with something that I've said. I'm not the only one that bad shit happens to. I would also like to hear your feedback in the comments, and you know, life is what it is sometimes. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!